Welcome to eWay Podcasts, podcasts from the world of CRM, business, and entrepreneurship. In today's podcast, we will talk about how to make your marketing communication more efficient using the See, Think, Do, Care framework. This useful tool for the creation of an online marketing strategy helps to identify the actual needs of your customers and adjust marketing communication accordingly. For every company, the most important marketing and business principle is to identify potential clients. So-called personas are used for this task. A persona is a profile of a fictional client that you are going to address via your marketing communication. Why create these personas? Because your message will be more successful if the content you create targets a given recipient from your potential client's group. And you'll get even better results if you learn to identify individual phases of the buying cycle of your clients. That's where the See, Think, Do, Care framework comes in. In today's podcast, we'll focus on this model. During the first part, we'll go over the differences between the traditional marketing approach and the STDC method, and we'll present the main benefits of this framework. You'll also learn how the STDC name came to be and how it describes the individual phases of the buying cycle. Then, we'll tackle each of the 4 parts in detail in the second part of today's episode. Finally, we'll discuss why you should plan your online marketing strategy according to the See, Think, Do, Care principles. Part 1. What is the STDC framework? The goal of every salesperson is to sell. Using traditional approaches, you'd try to persuade the client to buy from you. To that end, you can offer special prices, discounts, and use PPC advertisement, which encourages the client directly to buy a certain product or service. The downside of this approach is the fact that you are not building any relationship with the client. This downside is tackled by the STDC framework, developed by Google's employee Avinash Kaushik. He first divided the buying process into 3 phases: See, Think, and Do. These 3 phases happen one after another before the actual purchase. Avinash added the last phase, Care, only later, as this phase is concerned not about a potential client, but about an actual one, the one you already have. In his model, Kaushik reflected the fact that clients decide about a purchase way before you'd think they do. To put it simply, the buying process is not only about the client's need to purchase a product or service. It starts long before they even decide to do any shopping. And the company which catches the client's attention first has, logically, a huge advantage over the others. The origin of the abbreviation STDC is quite self-explanatory, as it comes from the individual phases of the buying process. See is the first phase, Think is the second one, and that is followed by the third, Do. Care comes up as the last phase of the process. Each of these phases is dominated by a client group with different needs. Therefore, you must address each of these groups with different content and using different channels. According to Avinash, this 4-phase model is the best for digital space. And marketing people agree, as the STDC model is very popular worldwide. STDC focuses on the most important aspect of modern marketing, on building and maintaining meaningful relationships with clients. The goal is to turn a one-time buyer into a faithful customer. Such a loyal customer will buy your products or services repeatedly and will also play a part in your marketing, for example, by recommending your company to friends and colleagues. Let's have a look at the individual phases in more detail. To make this easier, we'll use an online store offering smartphones as an example. Part 2. Individual phases of the STDC framework. We have already introduced the concept of the STDC framework and the succession of its phases. Now, we'll dig into each phase and use a real-life example to see STDC in action. Let's get into it. The first phase, See. In this phase, the customer starts looking around to browse. At this stage, your company targets the broadest audience possible, that is, all your potential clients, with the offers. It's important to understand that despite what some marketing people might think, not everyone fits into this audience. Only those people who don't have an actual need for your product or service but might be interested in the future are included in this group. People often don't know your product or service yet during this phase. That is why your goal is to catch their attention and get into their heads. But how to stand out from the crowd? You can achieve this by creating exciting content for your blog or social media, or by publishing insightful videos on YouTube. The possibilities are endless. Taking the online store offering smartphones as an example, we'll realize that in this phase, the client searches for general phrases like smartphone. And we can measure how successful the marketing in this phase is by looking at the total number of visits, the ratio of new visits, landing page views, or reactions and engagements on social media. The searched phrases are very general, so it's not useful to use PPC advertisement because it shows relevant offers to clients only when they search for a more specific phrase. But don't worry, PPC advertisement becomes useful during the following phases of the buying cycle. The second phase, think. This phase should contain a lower number of people, but these are all more relevant as they are closer to their decision to buy. The customers ponder all possibilities and look for detailed information. It is during this phase that you should become the expert that offers them relevant and detailed information. You could, for example, write an in-depth review of a given smartphone model. Tell the clients why they should buy this phone, and make sure to include the perks they'll get when they buy it from you. Tips, reviews, and product comparisons are the typical content for the think phase. Besides blogs, other suitable channels are video on YouTube, email campaigns, or SEO optimization to increase the organic traffic to your website. You can also use PPC advertisement as the client searches for more specific phrases like the cheapest smartphone on the market. The efficiency of this phrase can be measured by a total number of views of your blog, how many subscribers your newsletter has, or by the click-through rate. The third phase, do. The do phase is the most interesting phase of the whole process. The do phase was, until recently, the only one considered essential and focused on in companies. And that's because it's the phase when the conversion is about to happen. Conversion is a fundamental concept in digital marketing. It covers a web visitor's action that meets the goals of the web page. The smartphone eShop will describe one of its conversions as a finished purchase. Customers already know what they're going to buy, and the only question is where they spend their money. Your goal is to persuade them to purchase from you. PPC advertisement is a helpful tool during this phase as the client searches for particular phrases like Samsung Galaxy Note 9 sale Prague. You can get clients' attention by advertising specific types of smartphones, promoting sales, or the simple fact that your shop offers a smooth, one-step shopping experience. An offer of free shipping or a selection of a lot of pickup points also becomes quite relevant during this phase. Besides the mentioned PPC ads, you can also use email campaigns, SEO optimization, and various sites comparing goods and prices. We can measure its efficiency by the number of orders, conversion rate, revenue, and other sale-relevant statistics. On the other hand, YouTube, blog, and social media are not very useful channels for the do phase. The fourth phase, care. The last phase is all about your actual client who successfully completed at least 2 purchases. Customers who already made a few purchases and are persuaded about your qualities must be taken care of because loyal customers equal more revenue. Loyal customers are always happy to have customer support they can turn to. A loyalty program or custom-tailored benefits based on the previous purchases of a given client are also highly effective. You can create blog posts for users of your products, write an article about new apps or accessories, for example. And nowadays, another crucial thing is to regularly communicate on social media and send newsletters and email campaigns. The success of your client care can be measured by the number of recurring orders, frequency of articles, the open rate of newsletters, or by the number of reactions on social media. During the second part of this podcast, we explained how the STDC framework allows you to get in the shoes of your clients going through the different stages of the buying cycle. This model allows you to target your marketing content to different groups based on what the clients are searching for during each phase. We discussed how to create the right marketing content in our podcast called Content Marketing: Don't Act as an Uninvited Guest. Make sure to check it out if you missed it. The first phase of STDC is C, and your goal is to address all potential clients, to make them interested in your company and in the products and services you offer. During the second phase, think. You, as the expert, advise the clients on why they need to buy something. And you also present an argument why buying from you is the best option. The do phase, which comes up next, takes place when the clients already need to make the purchase and you have to persuade them that spending money on your products or services is in their best interest. And the last phase, care, starts when the customer successfully completes a purchase. Here, your goal is to make the clients loyal so that they're happy and your revenues increase. If you plan your online marketing strategy according to the See, Think, Do, Care principles, you'll put your efforts to good use. Dividing the buying process into 4 phases makes it quite clear and allows you to select the appropriate channel of communication with your clients for each phase. Offer your clients precisely what they're looking for during each step of the way. They'll be loyal, they'll stand by you, and they'll shop with you regularly. And they'll be sure to share their satisfaction with their friends. You've been listening to an eWay podcast. The article was written by Andres Svoboda, spoken by Cliff Coma. For more inspirational audio records, please visit our blog at blog.eway-crm.com, podcast section.